Hey guys, thanks for tuning into the latest edition of Lather Talk. We recently had the pleasure of chatting with Cody, the artisan behind Noble Otter, and got to talk about how he got started in the world of wet shaving, a peek into his creative process of new scents, and what to expect in 2022. But before we dive into the episode, I'd like to welcome aboard our new patrons since last episode. A big thank you to Matt Fox and Todd from Take Care Man for joining the Lather Talk Patreon. If you'd like to find out more about how you can support the show, just head over to www.patreon.com/lathertalk or look for the link in the episode description. Another way you can help support the show is word of mouth, so go ahead and tell a friend about Lather Talk, or if you're listening over on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review, as it really does help with the growth of the podcast. All right, that's enough with the jibber jabber. Let's move on to our chat with Noble Otter. Hey guys, welcome back to a new episode of Lather Talk. Joining me, along with my co-host Gerard. Hey Gerard.
Hey, what's up everyone?
Joining us today, we have from Noble Otter, a well-known and well-loved artisan in the wet shaving community. We have Cody. Cody, thank you so much for joining us for today's show.
Oh, thank you for having me here.
Sweet. All right, so let us we want to hear a little bit about the history of Noble Otter, but more importantly, we want to know more about the man behind Noble Otter and other otter-related things. You have, I think, one of the most beloved mascots in the artisan wet shaving world. So I did a quick check on the website. So it says that Noble Otter was established in 2017.
Yep.
And so why wet shaving? Like how did it all get started?
So it got started. Actually, I blame my wife. So for Christmas, she got me a wet shaving, like a kit, and I don't know. I don't know why she got it for me. She just did, and I instantly got hooked. I mean, I used to shave in the shower just with nothing. I would just, and that would be it. And then I started using that, and I just loved slowing down and actually taking the time and enjoying it. And I kind of got hooked on it. And so then a buddy of mine told me about the Wicked Edge subreddit. And then that's when I discovered all the other soap makers, all the other artisans out there, like Barrister and Man and Chiseled Face and all those types of guys. And then I became a collector. I got into the hobby just like so many others. And my wife and I, we were already making our own bar soap just for our own personal use.
Okay.
And I think I got up to 20 soaps or something like that, shaving soaps. And I was like, well, I already make bar soap. Why don't I try making my own shaving soap? And so I did. I bought tallow off of eBay. And it wasn't even fully rendered out tallow. So it had a very meaty smell.
Oh, no.
And it was awful. It was really bad. But the thing with shaving soap is it lasts a really long time compared to a bar soap. And so, in soap making, you can't make one container. You have to make at least a little bit, right? And so these tubs that I was making was going to last me forever. And so I was like, well, why don't I start giving it to people and seeing how they like it, and then go from there. And then I sent it out to a bunch of people that were part of the community. They enjoyed it, and then I started thinking up our brand and all that kind of stuff, and that's how Noble Otter came to be.
Do you have a particular attachment to the animal, the otter?
No, I don't actually. So the original thing was going to be something with a badger, And the reason I was thinking that was because, badger hair and the brush and all that kind of stuff, it's related to our little group. And but like there's another company out there that's called Badger that kind of make personal goods like creams and lotions, and I think they even make a shaving soap. And you can find them in Whole Foods and all this kind of stuff. And they were kind of they had the same thing that I was trying to do. They had like a cartoony, cute look. And so I didn't want to just like add a word to Badger and then kind of be in the same space. So basically we thought of a different animal, and for some reason Noble Otter just kind of rolled off the tongue, and we just stuck with it. So that's why we have an otter instead of a badger.
You're right though. You stumbled upon something that really is like easy to remember. It really does roll off the tongue. It's like finding a good band name or something like that. Yeah. Awesome. And also, so you're based in Houston still?
Yep, still in Houston.
Okay, Houston, Texas. And currently, the venture of Noble Otter, is this a full-time gig? Or is this something in addition to like another full-time job?
Kind of both. So my wife is full-time Noble Otter. She doesn't have any other job, so she does this 5 days a week. She's here at our shop 5 days a week. I still have a regular job. I work in the airline industry. Okay. So I still do that typically like 4 days a week or so, and all the other days I'm here. So yeah, it's like half and half for me, and then full-time for my wife.
Okay. Apologies, then to clarify, then it's both you and your wife are the people behind Noble Otter.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a huge part of it. In fact, she probably does like 90% of it. She does like 90% of the work. I do all the easy stuff. She does all the hard stuff, but that's what she likes. So
well, that's awesome. That's awesome that you're able to kind of run the business of Noble Otter together.
Yeah, it worked. Our setup is pretty good.
Okay, so established in 2017, you guys are working, and we were just talking this a little bit before we started rolling, but I think you mentioned about 3 months ago, you guys, have been growing and had to basically expand your workspace. Could you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so last year, 2020, some people might remember, we didn't have anything in stock, like ever. Like it was so hard to get some of our stuff, and it was just because we were so limited on space that whenever we needed to order stuff, we had to order the material that we needed, wait for it to arrive, put it all together, and then by that time we would have wholesale orders and all these other things, and we'd have to make it to send it out because they've been waiting for months. And so we could never really get ahead. And so about the middle of last year, we started looking for a space, and we found this space that we're currently in, and it's a new construction. So we had to wait for it to be built. In fact, it's not even ready. But we were able to get in here, a couple months early and get started on it. But yeah, it's been so much better. We're able to buy materials in bulk, or more, and buy more containers. We're able to do 2 batches at one time rather than just one batch at a time, and so it just makes it so much easier for us to get ahead. So before, we would never sell anything that we didn't actually have in stock, to our direct to consumers. But like the wholesale orders, they would email us and say, hey, we want, X amount of this, X amount of that, etc. And like for those guys, sometimes it would take us like a month or 2 months to like get those orders shipped out, just because we had to wait for all that stuff to arrive. We had to, it was just really bad. And so now that we're in here, if Maggard's places an order today, I'm sending it out tomorrow, and it can be a big order. And so Hopefully they're happy with that. But yeah, it's been so much better.
Mhm.
Being able to get ahead. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, to have to move to bigger space, just shows that business is doing well. And obviously, you have your own stock, vendors are picking up your products. So I would say that's all very good news.
It's great. It's been great. It's easier for us to release new items, like to experiment with stuff. It's just been a lot better.
Well, speaking of like vendors and other places carrying your products, I think earlier this year, what was it, in 2021, or maybe was it back in 2020, where a local grocery chain,
Yeah, that was this year.
that was this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear. So like the name of the chain, and how did this relationship come about?
Um, so the name of the chain is Central Market. It's kind of like a high-end grocery store. Um, they're owned by a company called HEB, which HEB is just like a regular grocery store, but it is HEB, the brand in
Mm.
Texas, is like beloved by all Texans. I mean, it's like the go-to grocery store.
Okay.
And so they own the brand Central Market, which is their higher end stuff, more unique items. You're not going to see, Frito Lay potato chips like
Mm.
in an aisle in Central Market. You're going to see some small brand or whatever. So they got like 9 locations throughout Texas. And one day, they just sent me an email through our contact page on our website. And they were saying, like, hey, Noble Otter, this is such and such person from HEB, and we're looking to expand our men's shaving products in our Central Market stores. And we want to, like, get some samples of your stuff and see if it's a good fit. And at first I was like, yeah, no, this is some dude trying to scam to get free items. And I was almost not gonna send it. But like I looked
Oh,
at the email address, I looked at the shipping address, and all this stuff, and I was like, because they wanted a lot of stuff. They wanted
yeah.
like 5 of each item. Like it wasn't just like two things.
Yeah.
It was like a couple $100 worth of stuff.
Okay.
And so I was like, all right, let me go ahead and just whatever. I'm just gonna send it. You
Okay.
know, and so I did. And probably about 3 or 4 weeks later, they emailed me back and was like, "Hey, we loved it. We want to carry it. We're doing this Made in Texas event, in April of next or this year, and we want to have it for that event, and then we'll carry it continuing on." And I was like, "Really? Like that's great. Let's do it." So there was some stuff we had to go through and stuff like that, but yeah, now we're in all those stores and we get orders from them on the regular, and it's been great.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations. I mean, just
It's
to be featured, people want to support local brands, obviously, but then to be picked up by, with like you say, a beloved, like super, like
Yeah,
market chain, like that's, man, that's such a great thing to put on the old resume of Noble
yeah,
Otter.
yeah, yeah. It's been super awesome to. It was great to go like the day that the event officially started.
Hmm.
Um, we went to because there's one in Houston, so we went to that one and we seen it on the shelf. It was really cool to see our stuff on like the shelf of a store that we frequent.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was awesome.
Well, I also did want to kind of pick your brain a little bit about your creative process, and
Hmm.
because with each new scent that you come out with, I feel like there's always this like wonderful label work and illustrations that go with it. So, I guess what I'm kind of asking is like, do you have a specific otter in mind, and then the scent gets created, or the scent gets created first, and then the otter comes about, or like what's that whole process look like?
Yeah, so it's actually the first thing you said. So we have a list of like this different otters, ideas.
Yeah.
And so we'll try and like first we'll kind of like imagine what that label looks like,
Okay.
and then we will kind of talk to our designer that we work with. Her name is Boyana, and we'll talk about it and kind of see if it's possible, see what she thinks, and then see what we can come up with. And then after that, if she thinks it's good, then we'll move on to actually working on a fragrance for it. And so, yeah, it always starts with the label. I don't know why. For us, it just it's easier for me that way. Because if I sit down and I say, okay, well, I'm gonna make a leather fragrance today, it's easier for me to build that fragrance if I have a visual aid, like if I have something that I can go off of, if that makes sense. So that's always where we start for every single one of our scents we've ever done, is always starts with the label. So
nice. No, that makes sense, because I think that it's a question that I think Gerard and I like to ask folks who, soap makers, and definitely people who are making scents, perfumery, and all of that. It's funny to see like what are your inspirations, what are like, is there a particular image or surroundings that you're trying to call to mind when you create this scent. But I think you've shared this a little bit before, maybe in on Instagram Live or just other other interactions. But like you've been learning perfuming too, like as you have time, correct?
yes, yeah. So fortunately, I've worked with some people that I don't want to say have taught me, but have given me like pointers and guidance on learning it. And of course, there's resources and books and stuff like that I've read. But like Dan from Australian Private Reserve, he was a huge help as far as he was super helpful and not telling me how to do something, but kind of giving me a direction. Hey, start with this and see what happens. That type of thing. I am good friends with a professional perfumer. She does it for a living. And so she's, taught me a lot. She always gives me pointers and stuff like that. She never really tells me like, okay, if you want to make a rose, this is how you make a rose, this, and this. She'll like, okay, well, what type of rose do you want? Do you want a wet rose? Do you want a dry? Do you want it to be powdery? Do you want it to be this? Okay, if you want that, then let's start with this, and then, provides that guidance. Because a lot of times it's fragrance is about your own like perspective. It's not so much, it's so unique. Like what smells powdery to me doesn't smell powdery to you. It smells maybe sweet, and so you just kind of have to do it. You have to explore it on your own almost. Yeah. So, and that's kind of the hard part.
I this might be a ridiculous question, but do you have like a favorite note, a chord, or even just like category of like like scent notes?
Not in like, I mean, I really like florals a lot. Like I know a lot of guys don't. I really like them a lot, especially rose. That's probably my favorite floral. I really like jasmine a lot. A lot of people hate jasmine, just because it has this like dirty smell to it. But I really enjoy jasmine also. I like leather. I don't have a leather scent right now. We used to, but we discontinued that one quite a long time ago. But yeah, I don't really particularly have like a favorite fragrance or a favorite accord. There's a bunch of stuff that I enjoy. It just depends on the day.
You like variety, it sounds like.
Yeah, I like a variety. I mean, I don't really particularly care for things that are like super smoky or dirty smelling, like very earthy. I'm not into that one too much. But I mean, they all have their place and stuff like that. I mean, we have some stuff, Plunder is kind of smoky. But a lot of times I make stuff for the theme, not necessarily something that I love. And so, yeah, it just depends.
Right. Okay. And that makes sense too with how you're going about it. You have the theme of the otter in mind, so you definitely just want to kind of play to those strengths in that theme.
Yeah, I mean, like we can't. I don't particularly care for smoky scents, but I can't never make a smoky scent because there's lots of people that do like smoky scents, and so I want to be able to offer a wide range of variety to our customers.
Yeah.
And so, I feel like we have to kind of offer the stuff that maybe I don't particularly enjoy.
For a lot of people that are in fragrance, imaginary authors is a really, I don't want to say like incredibly well known, but they're definitely known in the fragrance world. And so how did that relationship kind of start off? And with the initial release of Telegramma, and where we are today, and kind of the future and all that.
Yeah, so that one I emailed Josh and Shading said no. His email was no, not at this time, thanks. And so I was like, hey, that's it. I never bothered him again, never emailed him again, never asked again. And like 4 years later, he responded to that same email, like the same email from 2017.
Oh.
He responded to that and was like, hey, we're looking to get one of our scents made into shaving soap. Would you be interested? Can you send us? I want to try your the unscented soap. And I was like, absolutely, it's on its way. I unpacked it and it was out the door the next day. And yeah, and then after that he went with Telegramma. And yeah, it's been awesome. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if he wants to do it anymore or not, but we did Telegramma, and then we did the Soft Lawn.
Soft Lawn
is the new version of Soft Lawn. And so I don't know if he wants to do more in the future. He hasn't said, but we talk on a regular basis and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll do some more.
So just to clarify, because I did get only bits and pieces. It's kind of in imaginary author's court whether more soaps of other scents will be coming out in the future.
Yeah, it's totally up to him. He knows that we want to do it. He knows we want to make more. And so it's just a matter of whether he decides to continue on doing it or not. I hope he does, because there's one of his fragrances in particular that I really want to make into a shaving soap. Yeah.
Which one?
Slow Explosions.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
of course, it's a rose scented.
I sent the theme. He sent the theme.
Yeah, I already told you which ones I like. So
yeah, my vote, if we're just putting it out into the universe, is Memoirs of a Trespasser, which is a lovely, like very very.
A lot of people say that one.
Vanilla. Yeah.
A lot of people. That one. Do that one next. Why Telegramma? Why Telegramma? But it's not up to me.
Okay, well, transitioning from our talk about technical difficulties, a little more serious of a topic, but I think
maybe not.
maybe not. I'd love to hear more about how the pandemic has affected business, because I know it's caused delays, obviously supply chain issues. I was kind of looking over the releases, and was Neon Sun, did that wind up being your first 2021 release?
Yeah, Neon Sun was the first new release of this year. Yeah, and in fact, it's going to be our only release of this year.
Oh, so, really?
Yeah, we don't have anything planned for this year. This year was really kind of a setup year, okay. I guess. It's kind of like streamlining the future. So we moved into our new shop, and so we had to get all that. We had to get some more equipment, all that kind of good stuff.
So 2021, treating it as a setup year, as a build-up year, getting ready for big things in 2022.
Yep.
And just to confirm, because quite a few people were wondering, is Manoi de Tahiti like a tiki themed soap? Is that fair to call that?
Yeah,
Tropical?
yeah. So it's like a tropical type of scent. Yeah, so what happened with that one is that was planned for this year. That was planned for this summer. So one of the things that we're changing, there's several things that we're changing about our brand coming up next year. And so one of the things is we're switching to black containers. And so that label was made with black containers in mind. And so I know for a bunch of people out there, they don't care about and stuff like that. But I really, really care about that kind of. And so we had, and this is, I know we talked, you were going to ask a question about how COVID has affected us, but our container supplier, we had ordered, a good amount of black containers from this particular supplier, and we waited months for them, and they were just not shipping them, and they were not giving us a date when they would ship them.
Oh wow!
And obviously, Manoi is going to be a summer scent, and we were really looking forward to it. And it was, I don't know, middle of July, I think, or something like that. Mm-hmm. Still had no date whenever we were going to get the containers. And now it's like, by the time we got our containers and we made everything and shipped everything to vendors and this, that, and the other, did photos and all this other stuff, it's going to be, fall. And so, we were just like, well, we're not going to release a summer scent in the middle of October. So we just basically decided to push it back until sometime next year in the summertime. So yeah, that's what happened. Unfortunately, we were ready to go. I already have the labels in hand and everything. I don't like the way the labels look on a white container, and that's pretty important to me. So we decided to push that back.
Would it be fair to say that because the style of Manoi de Tahiti is very different than your white tub sign or labels and whatnot, so will future packaging, and will it, obviously it's still like your brand, but is it going to be like, kind of similar in style?
No. So Manoi was going to be the look that we were going for, but we actually are doing something a bit different. And so on our next release, we haven't announced it yet, you'll see a different layout. We're trying to incorporate the full body of the otter and not just the head. Oh. And so we're also trying, if you look at our labels, our otter is always, he's always has that like side profile, and, kind of always, his expressions are very slightly different, but I wouldn't really call it different by that much. So we normally dress him in a different costume, and then that's about it. So with Boyana, I told her, like, I really want him to be a lot more expressive. I want to see a full body. I want different poses, different angles. So that's what we're working on now. So the next label you'll see is going to be what the future of Noble Otter looks like.
Are you working from home? Are you lonely by yourself? Are you sick of that Slack channel with that stupid person that's really annoying by sending really dumb memes and gifs unrelated to the channel? Well, jump on the Lather Talk Discord, where we have a lot more of those, but at least it's not for work. That's Lather Talk Discord. Check it out in the link below.
So this is from listener J Beast Mode on Discord. A few questions. First one, you had mentioned maybe some hair products a while ago. Any update on those?
Yeah, so the pomade, we have one version of our pomade pretty much finalized. And we sent, I don't know, I sent about 5 or 7 or something like that testers out to different people. They seem to really enjoy it. And so we're pretty much going to move forward with that. That should be early next year. So there's a few different things that we're working on for hair products. So it's kind of hard for me to test hair product. So I rely a lot on other people. So yeah, but hopefully early next year we'll have something for like pomades.
Is it water based or oil based? If
So like the one that we finalized, I guess you would call like an unorthodox water base. And so I'm also working on a true water base formula right now.
Then, he had a couple of other questions. One, ever doing brushes again? And then, so just so I can get it in, your top 3 scents that you do.
As far as the brushes go, probably not ever going to do that again. They take a lot of work. They're like a ton of work. So, I mean, I guess I'll never say never because, you know, when we, in our garage, we didn't have space to be able to like turn brushes and make giant messes that does in our workspace where we make our shaving soap. Now that we're in our workshop, you know, maybe I can put a little corner where I can turn a brush or something like that. But probably not. I might do it on occasion, but probably not. As far as my favorite scents that I make, I'm like looking over at them.
It's like having to choose which one you like the most, right? Sorry, number 4, yeah, exactly. You're not going to make it today.
So Hamami is probably my favorite.
Oh.
Yeah, which is Hamami is like either love it or you kind of hate it. But for me, I really enjoy Hamami a lot. I like that whetstone, that clean whetstone smell. And so I think Hamami kind of captures that. Hamami, probably Orbit, and Tenoret Vanille are probably my 3 favorite. So, yeah. What's y'all's favorite?
Tenor Ebony. That's my favorite. Yeah,
oh, yeah.
of yours.
Yeah,
that particular scent I feel like is what launched us.
Yeah, I would say that too, but I mean, like, I think Two Kings is probably underappreciated. I really like Two Kings.
I think Two Kings is awesome also. I think it's very underappreciated.
Rose. It's got rose.
But it's the rose, I think. Yeah, you're right.
It's a lot more versatile than people maybe realize, even with the splash and the fragrance. It's really nice.
Yeah. It's definitely a good scent. That was a scent that I worked on a lot with the person I was talking about that's a professional perfumer. She had a lot of like guidance on that one. And so I personally feel like it came out really, really well. And so, she helped a lot with that one.
So the next few questions that we have are kind of very like specific product questions or scent questions. So this one's from Navi of Blute Razor, and he asks, "When are the bombs coming out?"
Oh, any day now. We had the photo shoot for them the other on Friday, and the photographer told me that they should be done editing them and all that, and I should have them tomorrow. So maybe tomorrow. They're ready to go. So
are those
there's a chance this week.
Nice. are those just going to be available, like immediately available in the currently stocked scents, or is it the unscented?
Most of them, not all of them. Yeah, so most of the scents will have one, have them. There's a few, like Plunder doesn't, Two Kings doesn't.
Okay.
Monarch, Lone Star, and Hamami will, but they're not made yet. They will have the bombs though, but Plunder and Two Kings will, and Northern Elixir will for sure not have them. But all the other ones, they should be up hopefully this week, and probably early this week.
Okay.
So, yeah,
awesome.
It'll only be available on our website at the beginning, and so as soon as, you know, pretty much I'm gonna send out emails to the vendors about it if they want to carry it, and if so, how much, and then we got to pack that up, and so that'll be probably a couple weeks, but you know, hopefully early this week we should have them on our website.
Very exciting. You might have answered this already, Cody, but let me just read it off again. So Private Mode asked us, I just asked that they confirm Plunder isn't going anywhere anytime soon. I absolutely love the scent. Really does give you that pirate feel.
So I don't want to say that it'll never go away, but we are kind of maxed out on how many scents we can do. And so we have to start rotating stuff. And so I can't just keep making stuff and then just keeping it adding to our catalog and all that kind of stuff. So we have to start rotating stuff. And that's kind of our plan for next year. So we'll start seeing some stuff kind of, I don't want to say go away for good, but it'll be rotated out and then maybe come back in the future. Okay. I don't know which one that is right now. I don't know when it's going to happen. But, you know, as new stuff comes, other stuff is going to stop being made. We just can't keep making, you know, 50 different SKUs and try and keep adding more on top of that. So, you know, Plunder will probably be around for a bit. People, especially lately, have been really picking up a lot of Plunder. And so that one will be around for a bit. But yeah, some of the other ones are going to be rotated out and then maybe make an appearance, you know, a year or two from, you know, whenever they leave. So,
and one last scent specific question we have, Cody, is from Gallon, and he asked, any chance there will be a short run of the trail?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't like saying no. I mean, I had an email from a customer a while back, and he was telling me like his dad shaves with the trail and it's his favorite. And I believe his dad like had like dementia or Alzheimer's or something like that. And he said that it actually reminded his dad of like his childhood or something, like, you know, like it brought a memory to him.
Yeah.
And so it was like super important to him. And so like that out of all the stuff that I make, like that was always the one that I was like, if I do like bring back one of our old scents, that would probably be the first one.
Okay.
But like I said, we're trying to bring in new stuff and phase out old stuff. But there's a possibility. I'll leave it at that.
Sounds good. I realized today, Gerard, we stuck mostly talking shop, like much more. Sometimes we veer a lot heavy into the business side of things, and other times it's more personal stories. So I do want to kind of balance things out a little bit. So let me give you a softball question. You're a busy man. You're a father of 3, husband, but do you have any hobbies that help keep you sane that are not shaving related?
Oh yeah. So I work in the airline industry, but I am a aviation like nerd. Like I love airlines. I'm addicted to aviation. Like that really is my number one passion is aviation. I am working on my the different certificates for flying. I'm hoping one day that I can work my way up to be an airline pilot. So that's a big one. I also am I love aquariums, so I'm into fish keeping and all that kind of stuff. And I do a freshwater planted fish tank.
I was gonna say, are you a freshwater or saltwater person?
I'm a freshwater person.
I am not an aquarium person, but my boss is, and there have been many times where, like, I've been asked, like, hey, can you stop by the place and pick me up some stuff? I'll pay you back. And I'm just like, what? or I'll get a text to be like, hey, I have like 120 gallon that I need you to help me bring into the house. And I'm like, dude.
So I'm not that deep. Like I don't have multiple fish tanks. I just, the main thing that I like about freshwater is I do live plants. I don't do like plastic plants or anything like that. And so I enjoy that part more than fish or anything like that. So, the freshwater live planted fish tanks are what is another hobby of mine that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
I just set one up like 2 months ago and it's doing really well.
One thing I noticed is that like a lot of, people who are into aquariums, it's like it's relaxing, kind of like putting everything in its place, getting all of the things that you want, making sure that, the chemicals are right, that the temperature is just right, everything is just, on point. And yeah, I feel like it's another, you're seeing like you're building, I don't know. Maybe I don't have a good analogy enough for it. Yeah.
You're just taking care of a little ecosystem. Yeah. It's, it's right next to the left of my desk and it just sits there and it's something I can just look at whenever I'm just thinking or whatever. And it's just a good way to relax and, let my mind just drift away a little bit. Yeah.
So freshwater aquarium, and for the like aviation thing, right? Because oftentimes we'll talk about video games, just because both me and Gerard are video game nerds. Are you into the whole like flight simulation games as well? Is it automatic? Is it fair to assume if you're into aviation, you probably have some sort of like affinity for flight simulator games?
Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah.
Special controllers.
I just built a whole new PC and everything specifically for Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Oh dang! Wow.
Yeah. So, I do like video games. Also, I'm not like I don't really have a whole lot of time for video games.
Sure.
But I do enjoy playing some stuff. But yeah, I built a whole new system just for Microsoft Flight Simulator,
Dang, wow.
and I like an ultra wide monitor now, and all this other stuff. So I have a really good setup.
This is Captain Cody. We'll be doing Dubai to Sydney. It is a 19-hour flight. All right. Don't bother me for the next 19 hours. Let's go.
That's right up my alley, man. That's right up my alley. I love doing stuff like that.
Do you, are you able to kind of like loop in that love with your sons, like the whether it be the tricked out computer or just other parts of aviation?
Yeah, so like my 9-year-old doesn't particularly care for aviation things, but my 5-year-old and my 2-year-old, they're into it. They love going to like the air shows, and we live where we live. We're like right below the final approach for Houston George Bush Intercontinental. So we're on like the final for where they land the heavy planes, which is like the big airplanes. And so it's really cool. We'll see like Emirates coming from Dubai, just the A380s, like, flying right over our house and stuff like that. And they're always just like, oh, looking up and, in awe of it and all that kind of stuff. And of course I am too. So yeah, they're into it, and I hope they continue to be into it. So
nice.
Yeah.
I can see that being something to like at least maybe you have three boys. At least one of them are bound to like share the interest.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm really hoping. We live near a little local airport, and so we drive down there all the time and stuff like that. So I'm hoping one of them kind of latches on to the whole aviation thing like I do, and we can share that. If not, it's okay. We'll share whatever they enjoy too.
Their loss.
That's
their
loss.
Their
but also
their
a
loss.
very fair answer. That's a. Well, thanks for sharing a bit about your hobbies. That's cool. It's always cool to hear what what people are into. It's like, I'm sure one day I'll come across the answer like I regress. What do you collect? Like it's gonna just be totally out of left field, but to each their own. But
right.
As we're winding things down, we definitely we heard a lot about how you're kind of setting up for the next year. But is there anything else that might have not come up in the conversation that you want to share, like to preview, or like what might be the first scent of 2022, if that's already set, and anything like that you care to share with our listeners?
So I don't want to tell you what the first scent is, and I don't really want to tell you anything about that.
Fair enough.
And the reason why is we are planning on doing something a little bit special with the community.
Okay.
And so I don't want to give anything away. And so I will give you, it's not really going to be much that I can share, but we are doing a series of releases, and it will be it's 5 items, or it's 5 shaving sets that they'll come out maybe every other month or something like that, and it's an additional item that can go with it, but it's not shaving related. And so the label on those are 2 of the 5 are already done, and they are awesome. They are completely different looking than what our regular releases will be, but they're different than what our current stuff is now. But I don't really want to share too much more than that. But yeah, it's 5 cents along with an item that is not shaving related, and I think people will really enjoy it.
Otter action figure.
There you go. There's another hobby you can get into.
There are
like otters.
A lot of
otter
toys behind me.
Otter pop-up children's books.
Comment below with your guess.
Otter Legos.
No.
That'd be pretty cool, actually.
It's not children's related either. It's not related to children's stuff.
Real otters in costumes that you will be shipping to people in boxes
for Halloween of next year.
Yes. Inflatable otter costumes, like those Tyrannosaurus Rex inflatable costumes, but it's Manoide Tahiti with the shirt and just going around. He didn't say no, so it's a possibility, everyone.
Yeah,
okay,
there's always a possibility.
Cody's very open to different ideas.
I'm open to suggestions, so that sounds like a good plan. I'll have to look into that one. As far as other stuff goes, where bath soaps will be making a return, and so we're actually taking the delivery of a pretty heavy piece of equipment tomorrow. And so those should be in the first half of next year. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen next year that we're really excited about.
Okay. And the best place to keep on top of those announcements, probably social media, Noble Otter Instagram. maybe sign up for the newsletter on on your website?
Yeah, I need to use that more often, the newsletter. But yeah, you can sign up there. Probably the best place is going to be Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
With Instagram being the best. So
sounds good. Well, Cody, I think that this brings us to the end of our chat. Thank you for working with us. We had a little scheduling snafu before we started. We also had a bunch of technical difficulties, but you have been a fantastic, wonderful, splendid guest, and I just want to thank you for your time today.
No, I appreciate it. I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, anytime you guys want me on, I'll be here.
Well, it sounds like we might have to have you on again after some big plans, get launched or at least get announced for 2022. We'd love to talk to you then because a lot of things to look forward to.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to be back.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, and that's a wrap for our episode with Cody from Noble Otter. Thank you guys again for tuning in to this episode. We really do appreciate your time and your support. If you're watching this over on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please consider becoming a subscriber so that you don't miss out on any new episodes. You can find all the social media links for Noble Otter, Lather, and GERARD over in the episode description. We hope you'll join us next episode as GERARD and I close out 2021 and talk about some of our favorite shaving gear from this past year. Take care, guys, and we'll see you next time.